You know that Mariah Carey audio where she's like, it's time? That's like me when a Natasha Denona palette gets delivered to my house. Welcome back everyone. Today's video is going to be eye swatches of the new Natasha Denona Golden palette. Natasha Denona has one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. I tend to purchase almost every single palette that she releases. When I saw the Golden palette, I was like, yep, I'm gonna buy that one. So I did, and something that I've been doing with the last several palettes that she's come out with is I swatch every single shade on my eyes so we can see how they actually look on the eyes. We'll come back to do a tutorial with the palette as well. If you want to see something with like 2 looks, 3 looks, or something like that with the palette, definitely let me know. But for today's video, I'm just gonna be putting every single shadow on my eyes and seeing what we think. This palette just arrived at my place. I was so excited when I got the delivery notification because I'm filming this on Tuesday. It originally told me it wasn't gonna be here till Thursday, so I paused everything and wanted to sit down and get filming with this. So let's jump into the Natasha Denona Golden palette. I did also purchase the lip gloss as well, so I'll be trying that at the end. All right, so for the Golden palette, this is one of the midi palettes, so it has 15 shades and it retails for $69. I purchased mine on the Natasha Denona website. It is also available at Sephora and Ulta. I will have it linked down below, also in the YouTube shopping button. I do have an affiliate code on the Natasha Denona website, and that is Samantha March if you're interested in picking this one up. This says, with overwhelming requests to bring back one of her most loved palettes, Natasha unveils the Golden eyeshadow palette, a new and elevated 15-shade version of her previous original Gold palette. Featuring new and existing shades in her iconic formulas, this palette is designed to create mesmerizing golden hue look. Here we have matte and creamy mattes, also sparkling foiled and metallic shadows, and the wet effect eyeshadows. Like I said, Natasha has my favorite eyeshadow formula. I typically say it's Natasha Denona, Sigma Beauty, and then Oden's Eye. So again, when I see Natasha come out with palettes, I tend to get pretty excited about it. I do also really prefer her midi sizes. I used to really prefer the mini, the 5-pan palettes, but recently the midis with the 15 shades just really get me. I also love more neutral looks, and I love gold. I love wearing gold. I often wear mostly gold jewelry. I have like gold detailing on like the accessories that I wear. I'm a gold girl, so when I saw this collection, I was like, Natasha, did you make this for me? Thanks, girl. So to start off with the different shades, we have Milko. Not sure I'm going to be pronouncing any of these correctly. Milko, a matte cream powder off-white. Matte cream powder off-white. So for me, this isn't going to probably be like the most exciting shade in the palette, but sometimes you want, you know, a creamy white to blend out shadows, for highlighting shades, things like that. So first up, I'm just going to add this. I'm just gonna put it all over my eye. Again, we're just kind of seeing what these shadows actually look like on the eye. So this one, I mean, to me, I think of like a creamy, milky shade. This could be a good base shade. Again, could be good for blending out shadows, like some of the darker shades. You could use it as an inner corner or brow bone highlight. Just kind of, you know, a basic staple shade in the palette. Next up, we have Nubia. This is described as a sparkling foiled gold nude champagne. All right, beautiful, beautiful. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add this to my other eye here, and I'm just gonna use my finger. You could also use a brush. I did grab out a flat shader brush in case I wanted to use that. Maybe I'll do the finger and the brush. But oftentimes for me, when it comes to these types of shadows, I often just like to use my fingers, and I think that it looks still so pretty on the eyes. This one is that gorgeous kind of like bronzy champagne. Like it looks like it has like little pinpoints in here too that just make the shimmer and the sparkle so beautiful. This is a shade that I would wear literally just like this. Like I would maybe put a little bit of like a matte brown into the crease, but just like a sparkly shimmery eye look. Such a go-to of mine, and I think that is super beautiful. Next shade we have Panna. This is described as a matte cream powder beige. This is a pretty light shade. I don't know if it would end up necessarily being a, where's my brush, favorite of mine in the palette. Need my Sigma switch. Sigma switch always comes in handy for videos like these because you can just wipe off the pigment. I'm also using the Sigma E44 and then the Sigma E58. Those are going to be the brushes that I am using today. But I'm gonna pick up Panna and put that all over the lid. This again to me would be like a blending crease color type of situation, but it's definitely more beige than it is like brown to me. Again, I don't know if this is gonna be my favorite because it's just so light. And since we just had that white shade, I'm kind of like, okay, like, not really sure it's necessary to have both, but it looks like we have another matte shade coming up. We have Aria. This is described as a matte medium light dusty sand. Okay, this one to me is definitely more my speed for when it comes to like a brown matte on the eyes. Yes, this can be a shade like that I see me being in a committed relationship with. I love the Natasha mattes. I just feel like they are so smooth to blend out. I'm not someone who has a lot of patience. I'm not someone who's a particularly skilled makeup artist, so it's important to me to have shadows and formulas that are easy to work with, and looks like that's going to be the case, especially with this shade. So just, you know, your nice matte, more of a cool toned brown for this one. Next shade we have Fizzy. This is described as a sparkling wet effect golden nude. I'm very excited for this one. Oh, that's okay. That's actually different than I thought. Wet effect golden nude. This is way more golden than I thought. I just looking at it in the pan, I thought it was going to be a much lighter base to it, but that really smacks you in the face with, it's like, to me it's like golden hour. That's really pretty. I really like these wet effect formulas as well, and to me it's so simple to apply with your finger. That's beautiful. Okay, one we have is Varus, and this is a metallic medium antique brass. Metallic medium antique brass. Oh, I forgot to swatch Fizzy on my arm. Let me do that for you because this is like so serious, you know. Whew. Okay, so we have Fizzy, and then Varus is the antique brass. Okay, so definitely more of that metallic shade. It's kind of like that, I don't know, what do we say, like dirty money. I wanted to say old money, but that's okay. I got Hamptons on the mind. I go to the Hamptons in like 2 weeks or something like that. But it's kind of like that dirty money type of shade. I don't know if these shades are like necessarily my favorite, but still pretty. I think this would be fun to like put this down, and then maybe I'm just gonna do something crazy. So here's Varus by itself, but like if you topped a little bit of Fizzy over it, I think that would make like a really fun shade. Like doing that duo. Yeah, see, like something like that. I think that would be a vibe. Next up we have the shade Aura, and this is a metallic golden ivory. See, when I look at this in the palette, I think that it's just like a, you know, a white metallic shade. But swatching it on my arm, I can definitely see like some shifts in here. It almost kind of, to me, like it almost pulls like slightly green, you know, that kind of like, I don't know, I was gonna say golden green. I don't know if that makes any sense though, but again, more of that metallic feel, the metallic shadow. To me, this would be one that again I would probably layer on top of another shade. I don't know if I would necessarily love this one by itself. This was one in the palette that I kind of saw and was like, okay, like I feel like I could like take or leave that shade. So I don't know if that one's gonna be a favorite of mine. But next up we have Teak, and this is described as a matte medium dusty caramel. Okay, so we have a bit of a deeper matte brown here. So I'm just gonna use the E44. My eyes are starting, we're like halfway through the palette, my eyes are kind of like, what you doing, sis? What's going on? Okay, this is an interesting choice. I haven't worn any eyeshadow for like 3 days, maybe 2 days, since returning from our Austin retreat. My next video should be my Austin vlog. I was gonna get it up before this because I didn't think this palette was coming until Thursday, but I'm sure this video will be up first, and then I will share my Austin vlog. Me and my girlfriend just hosted a retreat with our communities down in Austin, and it was so fun, but I definitely needed a few days to recover from that one. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so just a deeper matte brown. I'm gonna be kind of curious at the end what I feel, because there's several, you know, matte brown shades in here. I'm just kind of wondering if I'll be like, okay, all of these weren't necessary, maybe 2 or 3 would have been fine. You know, we'll kind of see, but I do like that we have this one, which to me is kind of like the medium one, and then we also have a darker one as well. So I think that's good, especially for different skin tones, because especially the first row I feel like leaned pretty light. But when I look at it, like the first row like leans pretty light, and then the last row leans a little bit more darker. So I like that we have that variety in there, so it's not too like one-dimensional. It's not only going to work for, you know, 1 or 2 even particular skin tones. So I do appreciate that. I'm just kind of wondering how I'll feel about all of the matte browns, and that's as someone who loves a good matte brown. Okay, next up we have Kava. I'm really excited about this one. This is a sparkling champagne gold. So this is another one of the wet effect formula, and I think that one is so pretty. So again, I'm just gonna use my fingers. Yep. These shadows from Natasha are just so beautiful. When I go into, what was her most recent one? It's probably sitting in front of me. The Hyper Natural face palette, yes, for sure. Even the Glam palette, the I Need a Nude, like, it's just, they're so beautiful. They're so easy to work with. I love like a good one and done shadow look, or maybe just like a little bit of matte. This is so stunning. This is just on its own. I mean, I've literally just been going into the bathroom, taking a little bit of my Pharmacy Green Clean, putting it on my lid and wiping it off with a towel. Like, I'm not reapplying concealer, I'm not reapplying primer, anything like that. Glitter, nothing. Like, and it just pops out so much. I never have issues with the Natasha formula. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I don't really have issues with eyeshadows like fading, creasing, things like that. I can deal with like fallout with some different formulas, but not with Natasha. And Kava, that one is so beautiful. Next up we have Sandstone, and this is a matte medium ochre. So another one of the matte brown shades. Again, just wondering like how I'll feel about all the matte browns, but let's try Sandstone. This one has a little bit more oomph to it than I was originally expecting. I had no issues though with any of the mattes, all very easy to blend out. I mean, you could do a beautiful matte look with this palette. For me, I'm kind of drawn to like one matte, one shimmer, but again, that was super easy to build up. So that one is Sandstone. Oh, just can't get over how pretty that one is though. All right, last row. Okay, we have Arum, a metallic muted gold. I think I'll say that I just think the metallic shades are just not my favorite, like in general. Out of Natasha's, like if she had a palette that was just full of like the wet effect shadows and some mattes, I would be super excited. For me, I'm not like a big metallic lover. We're also getting closer to my tattoo. I'm like, have I not done like a full palette swatching video with my tattoo? Because I feel like I probably should have, right? Oh, okay, this is pretty. Okay, I'm gonna eat my words for a second. Sorry Natasha, that's actually really beautiful. Listen, if I make a mistake, I will own up to it, okay? I will. That's really beautiful. Wow. I actually really like this shade. Okay. I did not think I was going to. This kind of reminds me of the single from Colourpop, and I think maybe it was, I want to say it's like Beauty and the Beast. Like one of their single shadows that came out in the Princess collection. That's stunning. And I wore it all the time. Like I've hit pan in the Super Shock shadow. Okay, my bad. That's a really beautiful shade. I really like that one. Next up we have Log, and this is our matte dark brown. So again, I appreciate that we have, and this is a dark shade. Like I appreciate that we have a dark shade in here. I also really like to use eyeshadows for liners, and I think that could make a really good liner shade as well. So I'm going to use my brush. I'm gonna go pretty lightly though, because it does, you know, obviously seem to be a deeper shade. Like this is one that I would use on the outer part of the crease, like just like how I'm applying it right now, to like deepen up a shadow look. Again, it would be a great for if I was doing shadow liner, or also, you know, liner on the lower lash line, things like that. But even with these darker shades, I just never have issues with the Natasha mattes. I think this one is really beautiful. And again, I'm glad that we have it. Like to me, I think that it would have made sense to have like maybe a light, a medium, and a dark, and we kind of have a few extras in there. But so far, I feel like there's been enough variety between the matte shades. Like they're not just all light or all medium or all dark. So I do appreciate that. I feel like the only one still that I'm just kind of like meh about is the Panna shade, especially because we have the Milko shade. But that's my initial reaction. In between Drakes, I just keep eating more and more Bunch Crunch, so don't mind me. Next up we have Oro, and this is a metallic warm gold. Okay, so again, my only concern with the palette is like, are we getting a little bit repetitive with some of the shades? Like, do we need multiples of the metallic golds? But then again, I mean, it's the Golden palette, so it's like maybe it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of like, do we need that many? But this could be one just like the, what was it? Aurum shade. So this one is like a, I don't know why the word spicy popped in my head, like a spicier metallic gold, but it definitely pops the eyes a whole lot. I don't know, I think it's really pretty too. I think the only metallic that wait, wasn't there a metallic that is, oh, the various shade, the like the antique one or whatnot. I like something that's a little bit more gold like this, and this to me has more like orange tones as well into it. Like it's almost like a really pretty sunset. Okay, that's pretty. Again, I'm just kind of worrying about the repetitiveness of it. But next up we have Flesh, and this is a matte light warm nude. Do we need it? Do we need a matte light warm nude when we have some similar shades in here? But I'm just still thinking that there could be, I love a good shimmer. Like I'm still thinking that there's like a shimmer or two that's missing in here. So I'm gonna make sure to wipe off my brush really well because we just used that darker shade. And then I will go in with Flesh. My eyes kind of beat up at this point, so since this is such a lighter shade, hopefully it'll still come through okay. My eyes are like, one more shade, and we got it. Okay. Again, nice shade. Blends easily. I like the matte browns. I just don't think we need this many. I don't think we need this many matte browns. I don't think we need so many like metallic gold, like, but the shades that are like really popping to me, like the Fizzy, the Kava, like those I wish we had. I wish we had more of those in there. Less of the metallics, like Aura, I could definitely take out. I wish we had more of these, like more plays on the golden tones with those shades. That's kind of how I'm feeling with my, you know, just first impression eye swatches. And then we have one last shade, Alchemist, and this is a metallic brass. All right, so another metallic shade. I don't know, y'all. I mean, it's so pretty, and like the swatches on my hand, like so pretty, definitely me shades. I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna use a brush for this one since I've used my fingers with all of the other ones. So I'm just gonna use a brush with Alchemist, but I don't know. I feel like this could, you know, easily be a smaller palette as well. I know the gold palette is no longer available. I actually did declutter mine from my collection, so I can't necessarily do like comparisons with it. But even this shade, like I was kind of hoping in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe this will be the shade that'll like really bring it home for me. Again, this is just my first impressions. These are also just eye swatches. Maybe once I start putting actual looks together, and also to me, sometimes I like to see how much I gravitate towards a palette. Because sometimes there's palettes that I try in the beginning that I'm like, hey, you know, that was kind of like so-so for me, and then I just keep reaching for it and keep reaching for it. I'm finding new combinations that I love and things like that. So, you know, I definitely want to see if anything like that transpires with this palette. I just feel like if I were to make like my ideal golden palette, that I would definitely do more of the wet effect formula because that's so beautiful. I would take out some of the metallics. I would take out some of the repetitive matte brown shades. I don't know, that's just kind of my first thoughts with the palettes, but here is Alchemist on the eyes. Again, pretty. I just feel like it looks kind of similar to the other, you know, metallic golds in the collection. Again, kind of leans a little bit more on that orange side. It's very pretty. I think that I can do a lot of very pretty looks with this. I like the ease of the Natasha Denona formulas. I like how easy the mattes are to work with. The metallics are pretty. The wet effect formula is definitely like my standout with these. We have some of like the creamy mattes in here. But I don't know if I'm going to love this as much. To be honest, I didn't necessarily love the gold palette. Like I said, I did declutter that one. I have a few Natasha palettes just sitting here next to me. Like, I really love the Hyper Natural Face palette. I love the Glam Face and Eye. Like, I love the Retro, the newer I Need a Nude. Those are, you know, some of my favorites. So I'll be curious to see over the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I'll put this in a I guess it's not a first impression video anymore, but a get ready with me video, and do an actual full look. I'm sure I'll do a couple of shorts with full looks. Let me know if it'd be helpful to see a video with like 2 or 3 looks, or do you feel like you've already seen enough looks online, you don't need a fully dedicated video and I can just do some shorts with the palette. Definitely let me know what you think. I think the packaging is super beautiful on this one. I'm just not sure it's going to be a total favorite of mine, but I'm just going to clean up the eyes a little bit and then we will also try the lip gloss. Okay, so I just added on some black liner. I smudged some of the matte browns on my under eyes, and then I'm using the City Beauty Beyond mascara. So for the gloss, this is the Golden Glimmer Gloss. So this one retails for $29. It says introduces the Golden Glimmer Gloss, an innovative clear oil gloss formula that illuminates the lips with iridescent golden sparkles while delivering the benefits of a hydrating oil. This hybrid shimmering lip plumper subtly tingles to give the lips visible volume and high shine mirror finish, leaving them with a noticeably plumped effect. I did not realize it was a lip plumper. Okay, I actually didn't know that until I was in Austin with Angie and she got the collection delivered to her and she was like, yeah, I didn't realize this was a plumping gloss until after I bought it. And I was like, it's a plumping gloss? Because I just went off recently in a review video of basically how much I hate plumping glosses and they hurt my lips and I want to cry. And I just bought one. So we'll see how I like it. Some glosses say they're like plumping, like the Lawless glosses are plumping glosses and I don't feel anything with them. That's why they're some of my favorite glosses. But this is, wow. This is very beautiful though. I love a good gloss. I love a good like shimmery effect gloss. I love a good lip oil. So I'm kind of, you know, I'm curious about the oil and gloss duo here. So I'm going to use a Natasha Denona lip liner and I'm going to use the one in Noah. So I'm going to line my lips first. I also love the Natasha Denona lip liners. I recommend them all of the time. So for this one, just doing a little swatch on my hand here. Okay. And we'll see what it looks like on the lips. Okay, she's cute. I'm waiting for like the plumping, tingling to join in, but I love like a good like brown nude glossy lip. I mean, obviously it can change if you want to use more of a pink lip liner, a darker lip liner, and pair it with the gloss, you can, but I just figured with this eye look using that last shade. Okay, I can feel it a little bit. It's nothing too much right now. Like the Charlotte Tilbury, like you put it on, I think I have one in front of me, the Charlotte Tilbury Big Lip Plumpgasm, like you put it on, like instantly my throat went numb. Okay, so these, it's like, yeah, I can feel a little bit. If this is as much as it goes, I will be fine with that as a lip plumping gloss. It looks pretty though. First bat, I'm not like, you know, 100% fainting, but I think that it looks really pretty. I think it pairs well with Noah. I really love that lip liner and I like this look. Like I said, I love a good neutral look. I love good browns. I love good golds. I love good gloss, all the things. So that is my first impressions, my eye swatches and gloss try-on of the new Natasha Denona Golden collection. Let me know if you want to see any more videos on this collection or if you're like, you know what, I've seen it, my mind is made up. Let me know if you are going to be purchasing the collection. Like I said, I have the affiliate discount code on the Natasha website, which is Samantha March. Let me know what shades were your favorites. I hope you found this helpful. I'll see you in the next one.